All right. I call this meeting of the Conroe Independent School District Board of Trustees to order. Let the record show that a quorum of members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Chapter 551. The time is 6 o'clock. I'd like to turn some time over to Mr. Scott Moore for our invocation.
If you are so inclined, I'd invite you to stand with me and remind you that this portion of our program is in no way mandatory. You can participate if you would like. I would like to invite you into a moment of silence where you can reflect in your own tradition if you choose, and then I will close this with a brief few words. God of all people, in all places, at all times, we pause before you tonight to ask that your Spirit be amongst us, your Spirit of healing and reconciliation. In light of events in our country, we pray that your peace, that peace which passes all understanding, would fall across the land. And we pray for a day when we might all live together in unity without fear. But tonight we celebrate the accomplishments of our students and of our staff. We give you thanks that we live in a district full of so many dedicated individuals. We pray tonight that you would help us to set aside our petty differences, that we would always keep before us what is best for the students of this district, for our employees, and for the citizens. God, we thank you for the blessings that you have poured out upon us, and we pray that your Spirit would be ever with us. We lift our prayers to you by all the names and in all the ways that we know you. Amen.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Williams for our pledges.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right. May be seated. Thank you, Mr. Moore and Mr. Williams. Item 2A, special recognition, 2021 THSWPA 6A 198-pound weight class state champion, Ana Gonzalez.
All right. Well, thank you. This is one of those times where things begin to feel like normal, when here we are getting to celebrate the accomplishments of our great student athletes. And tonight, here to celebrate our powerlifting state champion, we'll ask Dr. Tasha Smith, our principal from Conroe High School, to come forward.
Good evening, President Hubert, members of the board, Dr. Knoll. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to come before you tonight to present to you one of our amazing Conroe Tigers. You know, when the school year began, we were not sure what competition was going to look like for our student athletes. So while the adults were sitting around, you know, waiting on Zoom and email answers from UIL and TEA, our student athletes continue to take care of business in the classrooms, on the courts, fields, and in this case, in the weight room. We are so incredibly proud of this young lady who I know Coach Ryan Anthony is eager to present to you tonight. So at this time, I will introduce Coach Ryan Anthony, our powerlifting coach.
It is a blessing and an honor to be here for, and it's not even for me, it's really for Anna, for my lifter. I'm going to say a few words about her, and there's going to be a lot of words about her that I could say. For the past 3 years, Anna's been very dedicated to the program, to the school, and to me, and to herself. And that's the coolest part about it, is that 3 years ago, Anna came in, and she had never touched a weight in her life, and she was dedicated and bought in and loved everything that was about powerlifting. It's about, we always say, we wear it on the back of our shirts, lifting heavy weight as fast as possible. And she was bought into that. And unfortunately, her sophomore year, when she went to regionals, what's it called? If you don't get a lift in a certain lift, it's called bombing out. So if you miss a squat, you get 3 attempts. If you don't get one, you're disqualified from the meet. Well, Anna bombed out in squat, so she could no longer compete for the rest of the meet. She was heartbroken. She trained very hard. She was going to be top in the region, top in the state, probably qualified for state that day, but it wasn't her day. And she learned a lesson that day. And I reminded her for about 365 days of that lesson. And but she was dedicated to do it again. And she got better, and every single day. And that year, I knew she was going to be great because she would write down goals and send them to me. But they weren't just daily goals. They were, this is the goal for the next year. This is the goal for the next year, for the next week, the next week, the next week. This is how I'm going to be the best in the state of Texas. So she did that. She set her goals. She went to regionals. She won the region. 4 days later, everything shut down. And so that goal that she had set she accomplished that goal, but her real goal was to win state. And it got taken from her, unfortunately. So we had that whole year to go again for a whole nother year, and she did it again. And she set more goals, and she competed for herself and for us and for her team. And she had a good, the first 2 years she had a good unit that supported her. We had some little mama birds with her that took care of her and helped her, and she lost those because they graduated. And so she had to be that mama bird to help everybody else, and she did that, and she took care of herself. And she went on to win the region and with some tough competition. And, when we got to the state, there's a area of judges that judge a little bit differently. And we got those judges that were really difficult, and we had seen them year before at regionals. And she had this is her tough spot. And but that dedication she had for the past 3 years, from her sophomore year to go, and then that remembering, I told her, remember that day that where you didn't go, you wanted to do it, but you didn't. Don't forget that day. This is why you're here. And she remembered that, and she was all about it. And she got in there and she set goals, and then some bad things happened, but we had to fight. So she had to overcome some things, and she did. And the biggest thing about Anna is that was the very last lift, and this is the one I'll tell everybody about, is we had to hit a certain amount to deadlift, and it was close. I believe that at that time it was 395. So she had to deadlift 395 pounds. But I think at the time it was 385 pounds to tie it. And I said, here are your options. You can tie it and get third. You can go up for 395 pounds, and if you don't get it, you'll be disqualified because she hadn't got a deadlift yet, and you can just go home with nothing. Or if you get it, you're going to win. So do you want to get a medal or do you want to win? She said, I only showed up and I only do this to win. She said, I'm not leaving here without being a state champion. And that right there was her 3 years of the dedication that she had, and she absolutely earned being a state champion because she had that mindset all the time. So I would love for y'all to recognize Ana Gonzalez. So.
Coach, thank you for those words. Anna, what a pleasure to get to stand here today and to honor you. This plaque says the Conroe Independent School District Board of Trustees would like to today recognize Ana Gonzalez from Conroe High School, the 2021 state champion in powerlifting. And after hearing that story, I just can't imagine being able to do that myself personally, especially with a hurt leg. But to hear the perseverance that you went through, how you bombed out, but you didn't stop. You came back and COVID happened and you didn't stop. And you came back and the coach said, a medal, no medal, or win it all, and you didn't stop. And I just want to say congratulations.
Congratulations.
Good job, coaches.
Hey, Coach, Coach, can you share with everybody her three lift totals, amounts in total?
At the state meet or her
Yes.
best?
General.
State meet.
Outstanding.
At the
God
state
bless
meet,
you.
ooh, at the state meet, your best squat was 385. Her bench press was, I think that was a PR, right? We did 210. Yep, a 210, and then we did it was 395. Great, I got that right. 395.
Wow.
She's hit 400 on all of them.
I think my best squat was 190.
Mine's
now.
about 250 every time I
Yeah,
stand up.
maybe 195. Some
When we
point
share
day.
that.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Here's 245 right here.
Yeah, that was last year. That was the COVID squat. All right. Congratulations, Conroe High as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. Yeah. Item 2B, this is a fun night for all of us. We're going to be here a while, so this is fun. Special recognition, 2021 UIL Class 6A Girls Swimming and Diving State Championship of the Woodlands High School. Dr. Nolan.
So we're going to combine items B through E here because I think when you think about a school that has such great tradition in the pool as the Woodlands High School has, it's hard to do things that haven't been done or don't happen very often. But when you can go out in the state's largest division of 6A and take team championships on both the boys and the girls side, that's complete domination. And here tonight to celebrate that is our principal from the Woodlands High School, Dr. Ted Landry.
Good evening, President Hubert, members of the board, Dr. Knoll. Thank you very much for giving us the time to recognize these truly deserving and I may say phenomenal young men and women. You know, they work tirelessly to get better at what they do, and the bar is very, very high in 6A swimming and diving. But they, you know, they just kind of looked at that bar as they went over it. But they achieved it. They're in the pool very early every morning, most afternoons, and swimming and diving and just trying to get better. Their dedication and their hard work is truly commendable. So we definitely appreciate you taking the time to help us to recognize what they have accomplished. You know, we couldn't be more proud of them and what they've done for us. So I'd like to introduce their head coach. He's the head coach of both the boys and the girls state championship swimming and diving teams, Coach Jeremy Wade. Now, while he's coming up, because he won't say this about himself, but I want to take a quick minute just to let you guys know, winning a state championship for a coach is a very big deal, and to do it multiple times, which he has, is puts you in a very elite class of coach. To do it for both the boys and the girls in your career in the same sport is puts them in a whole nother rarefied air. But there are only a very few handful of individuals who can say they've won a boys and a girls state championship in their respective events in the same year. And we have that caliber of coach with us at the Woodlands High School, and we are truly fortunate to have him with us. So
Awesome.
Congratulations, Coach.
Well, thank you for that, Dr. Landry. I just have to say it's all about the students. They have just put in so much time and effort into this sport, and it didn't happen in just 4 years. They've been working for this since they were little age groupers, so I don't want that to go unnoticed. I'd like to start out just by thanking the board for having us here for this recognition. I know the seniors greatly appreciate this, and the senior parents do as well, to be able to get to do this in person, and everybody that's tuning in the live stream as well. I'd like to recognize everybody who played a part in our success. We have a fantastic group of parents here tonight and with the live stream, and it can't be done without the parents' support, and their support is phenomenal. With a program of our size, every bit of volunteerism that goes into running meets, not just for our program, but we host the regional meet when we service a lot of kids. So any parent that's here, please stand. Let's recognize our parents. We also have great coaches. Coach Witt, he is our aquatics director and the Conroe ISD diving coach. And diving played a huge part in all of our success this year, and he does a phenomenal job year in, year out with not just our program, but all through our district. We also have two great assistant swim coaches, Coach Tom, who could not be here tonight, Coach Erskine. They play a huge role in all of our success. They do a lot on the deck, and they are great classroom teachers as well. So let's give it up for our assistant coaches. We have a great administration and support staff at the Woodlands High School. Our athletic secretary, Ms. Gretch, and Ms. Kim at the natatorium do a lot behind the scenes. Our campus coordinators, Coach Rapp and Coach Graves, their support is phenomenal. Our district athletic director, Coach Long, is always there rooting us on. And of course, Dr. Landry, who he actually set a record this year. He's the only principal ever to get to jump in the pool twice. And he did it. He did it back-to-back weekends. I'm not too sure he was fully prepared for the first one, but that was an awesome record to set there for Dr. Landry, and your support is very much appreciated. What a historic season for the girls and the boys. We're district regionals and state champions. We have 20 individuals that made the all-state list this year. That list was just published a few weeks ago, and that's the most I could find ever in school history. 20 individuals on the all-state list was pretty phenomenal. So we're going to start out with our girls state championship team, and I will start with the seniors who are here in person with us. We have Isabella Barrientos. She will be swimming for Washington University. She was academic All-State and academic All-American. Next up, Lauren Birch. She will be diving for Stanford University, joining her ex-teammates Lily and Lucy Nordman. She was a silver medalist in diving. She was academic All-State and academic All-American.
Wow.
And then our other senior girl here with us tonight is Alyssa Sorensen. She will be swimming for BYU, and I cannot say enough about these senior girls. They came in, they won a state title as freshmen, and they are going to be leaving as state champions as seniors. I'd like to also recognize our underclassmen are not here. Olivia Bush, who's a junior, Sophia Cristal, freshman, Caroline Frazier, freshman, Olivia Garis, junior, Emma Guglielmello, sophomore, Mary Nordman, sophomore, Zoe Nordman, freshman, Abigail Pope, sophomore, Kaylee Radford, freshman, Evelyn Ritterer, freshman, Murin Ritterer, junior, and Paige Tabor is a junior. She was our other silver medalist in the 100 backstroke, and she was academic All-State. This girls' team won state without winning a single event. They won by a true team effort with a very deep team, making every point count. We only got to the podium twice as individuals, and that was okay because at the end of the meet, all of the girls were standing on top of the podium as state champions. Again, so proud of this senior class, and congratulations, girls.
Start here, right there.
Good luck at school.
Good job.
Good luck at school.
You got more work to do up there.
Congratulations.
That's wrong.
Congratulations. So proud of you.
Congratulations.
Fabulous. Congratulations. Great job.
All right, on to our boys' team. Again, I'm going to recognize our three seniors who are here with us tonight. One of them could not be here tonight. He was Cameron Cash. He was a senior. He's going to be diving for the University of Pittsburgh. He was a bronze medalist in diving, academic All-State and academic All-American. Cotton Fields. Wait. He'll be swimming for SMU. He was a silver medalist in the 200 IM. He was academic All-State, academic All-American. Next up, Brandon Raniera. He'll be attending Texas A&M University. He was academic All-State and academic All-American.
Right.
Our other senior, Tyler Hewlett. He'll be swimming for Texas A&M University. He was academic All-State, academic All-American, silver medalist in the 100 fly, state champion for 3 years in a row in the 100 backstroke, setting a school record. These boys had an absolute perfect meet with the margin of victory of only 2 points. Last year was kind of a heartbreaking second place by 3.5 points. That made this year's victory so much sweeter. But I'm going to go ahead and recognize our underclassmen before I tell you the rest about the state meet. Roberto Bonilla Flores, a sophomore, silver medalist in the 100 breaststroke. Aiden Flanagan, sophomore. Jacob Jones, freshman, silver medalist in diving. Javier Pinilla Reyes, junior. Ryan Rottenbach, freshman. And CJ Sorensen, sophomore. Our boys 200 medley relay last year, it was a 21-year-old school record that we broke last year. This year we put 3 different boys on that relay and not only broke last year's school record, but we smashed the state record, and that relay was comprised of Tyler, Roberto, Cotton, and Aiden. These same 4 boys, they needed a 3rd place finish in the very last relay at state to secure the team title. We were 4th by over a body length going into the last relay leg, Tyler's anchor leg. And on his last 25, he pulled us into 3rd place, winning us the bronze medal, breaking our school record. It took a school record just to win the bronze medal, and securing our first boys team title in over a decade. Our athletes are not just outstanding in the pool, but they're amazing students. Our team GPAs on the girls' side, we set the gold standard for the NISCA qualification. Our girls' team GPA was 3.782. Our boys earned the silver, and their team GPA was 3.668. It's been over 31 years since boys and girls won state in the same year, so this is a pretty big deal, and just very, very thankful to be a part of it. This is truly some of the finest student athletes in Conroe ISD. Please join me in congratulating them one more time.
Great job.
Pony up.
Give 'em eggs. There you go. Thanks, Coach.
Good job, Coach.
Congrats. Congratulations.
Thank you for all your leadership. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate you, Coach. Thanks.
Thanks, Coach. Great job.
Awesome job.
Congratulations. Great job. Great job, sir. Thank you.
And so our other individual, Tyler Hewlett, again, just an incredible, incredible career he has had here at the Woodlands High School. Again, 3 years in a row, 100 backstroke state champion. He's this year's Houston Chronicle Swimmer of the Year. He is going to go on to do some incredible things, both in the pool and whatever path he takes in life. He is truly an extraordinary young man. I'm very proud of Mr. Tyler Hewlett.
There you go. Attaboy. There you go. Gigamag.
Okay, so medley relay is next. If I could invite Tyler and Cotton back up. Roberto is underclassman who is not here. Again, this medley relay was a 21-year-old school record that we broke last year, and then this year to re-break it with 3 different individuals was an incredible accomplishment.
Woo. All right. Well, congratulations, Highlanders. As Coach Wade said, this doesn't start in 1 year or 1 month. It's years and years of practice. From when they were little tiny peewees, parents were going on Saturdays, every weekend to multiple swim meets. And it's a family affair. And as a former Highlander swim mom, I just want to say congratulations and hammer down.
Very nice. Remarkable job. Congratulations once again to all you guys and to your parents. Hewlett, what a wonderful young man you guys have. And all you parents out there, congratulations and well done. Thank you for what y'all do. All right, item F, special board recognition, teaching and learning department COVID-19 response. Very important.
All right. No, thank you, President Hubert. We've taken the opportunity over the last few months to really celebrate the hard work and effort of so many of our staff members across the district, and I don't think we ever want to take for granted the situation that we are blessed to be in as one of the largest school districts in the nation, to have our schools open and to keep them open this entire year, and keeping our students and our staff safe and educating them to the high level that we're accustomed to. And none of that happens without a lot of hard work. But what we saw tonight is the same thing you see when you walk into a school building. You see children being successful on a daily basis, be it learning, having an opportunity to compete. It's significant. And what it does is it reaffirms how important the work of all these great people is, and that the sacrifice has been worth it to make it happen. And so tonight we're going to take the time to celebrate our teaching and learning department. And they were the first department that were on the clock last year coming out of spring break when we had to make the shutdown and switch to virtual. And they have not had a chance to catch their breath yet, because we have just reinvented the way school works over and over again in the last 14 months. And so here tonight to start our introduction is Dr. Chris Hines.
Thank you, President Hubert, members of the board, Dr. Knoll. Again, keeping with the theme of recognizing champions this evening, I want to thank you for your recognition over the past few months of some of our many district heroes that have really come to light during this pandemic. And tonight we are thankful to be able to recognize one more part of our CISD team that played a major role in enabling us to successfully navigate this difficult period of time, and that is our teaching and learning department. And roughly 13 months ago, our students and staff went on spring break and we didn't come back. And that time period that followed was one of uncertainty, marked by rapidly changing guidance from various agencies, which made it even more difficult to plan, because we weren't sure if we were going to be gone a week, 2 weeks, a month, what we were doing. And our teaching and learning staff and our outstanding teachers quickly went to work creating learning opportunities to close out the school year so that students could learn from home. And people worked many long hours to successfully finish the year. The summer months were equally stressful as we began to make plans for the new school year. As it became clear that we would need to open the year in remote instruction and then be able to provide a remote learning option to families who wanted it, we had to begin planning and developing resources to assist our teachers, students, and families. So to recognize this group of dedicated professionals, I will turn it over to our Assistant Superintendent for Teaching and Learning, Dr. Edith Upshaw.
Thank you, Dr. Hines, President Hubert, Dr. Knoll, members of the board. There is a quote by Andy Hargraves, retired chair of Department of Education at Boston College and writer, that states the following about leaders in the field of education. Education leaders must have the will at times to release leadership to the teachers and parents and students. A true testament to this statement is the challenge that our district faced with COVID-19. Just like Dr. Hines said, after taking a scheduled calendar break last March and never returning to our second home, our school buildings. Teachers overnight learned how to teach from their dining room tables by using iPhones, iPads, and home devices. They learned how to use items in their own kitchens and backyards to make math and science lessons fun and engaging for our students. They learned how to build school communities without the welcoming handshakes and the hugs that students await every morning or during classroom exchange at the secondary level. They instantly became Canvas studio experts, YouTube sensations, like our superintendent, which is now known by our students as a YouTuber to watch. If you don't know that, they say that to him, which is, my mom and dad watch you. Reading became animated, and small group instruction was now held in breakout rooms, where teachers trusted students to have higher level conversations on their own as the teachers came in and out of virtual rooms. We trusted parents to help their students and gave them the tools to do so. All of these things mentioned became a reality of our students, parents, and school community because of the instructional coaches and teacher leaders in our district, led by all the members that you see here lined up against our wall. Our department was challenged to go online in a matter of 48 hours, and they accomplished it. To our surprise, we were contacted by 11 plus states if we were willing to share. When Hawaii called, many of the team members on this team were readily available to go on a volunteer basis, but due to travel restrictions, we were told that was not possible. The team created online lesson plans for teachers, created a new attendance system, and applied as a district to hold both in-person and virtual school. In addition, they prepared teachers on how to hold small group instruction safely, now through COVID safety protocols, how to manage kids' big book bags and manipulatives accessible to students. They arranged virtual pickup for algebra tiles for kids that were online, that needed it for math, and learned quickly that a behavior expectation protocol is also needed virtually, just not for in-person learning. We challenged ourselves even further. Even though kiddos started online, we made sure that our most needed students came before all the other students because it was needed. And they instantly provided an additional 2,551 staff developments than we had in the previous year. We have 699 to go. For our teachers to be able to learn in this new stage. There are many other items accomplished by this team that cannot be mentioned tonight, not because it's not worthy, but due to the key fact that this team's success is influence, not authority. Each and every one of these individuals recognized tonight wholeheartedly come to work each day blessed with the opportunity that you give us to help our teachers, which in turn help our students become successful. In closing, I will use the words of Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it's done. I want to thank you, alongside them, from the bottom of my heart for getting it done. Aww. I am truly grateful for each every day. So we will begin with our introductions. Our Director of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment, Sean Cresswell. Our Coordinator of Assessment, Dana Boyer.
Hang on, let's get a picture. There you go.
Our Director of Bilingual ESL, Darren Carlisle.
Congratulations.
Tracy Landis, early literacy and dyslexia specialist. I didn't mean to add to your title. Mark Smith, elementary language arts specialist. Tammy Zunker, early childhood and elementary math coordinator. Dr. Robert Horton, fine arts coordinator. Chris Reichelt, gifted and talented program specialist. From our Department of Guidance and Counseling, Denise Sapola, our coordinator. Manuel Texidor, specialist. Janice Lovelace, specialist. Kelly Locke, specialist. Laura Willard, specialist. Our Director of Information Systems, Terry Ross. Our Instructional Technology Coordinator, Chrissy Calhoun. Our PE and Health Coordinator, Wade Haymark. From the Department of School Improvement and Leadership, Directors Hartwell Brown and Jeff Fuller. Secondary Language Arts Coordinator, Debbie McNeely. Secondary Math Coordinator, Carlos Barron. Secondary, Science Coordinator, Cheryl Hine.
Good job.
From our Department of Special Ed, our Director, Dr. Kendra Wiggins. Casey Arnold, Assistant Director. Coordinators, Amy Longacre. Lauren Hickman. Crystal Vincent. Elizabeth Villalta. And from the Student Support Services Department, our Director, Kimberly Earthman. And our Specialist, Denise Griffin. Individuals that cannot be here tonight with us were Lauren Helfer from the Assessment Department, Gabi Lopez, which had a baby that we want to congratulate, and she's at home, Jonathan Doria from the Early Childhood Department, Dr. Sharon Henry, our Elementary Language Arts Coordinator, and Richard Woodruff, our our Social Studies Coordinator. Thank you very much.
Mr. Emmons, say a few words.
Awesome.
Oh, yes, please.
You know, truly, I had a few little remarks here, but I'm going to change them too. You guys are my heroes. So many of you came up and said thank you. It's not us at all. It is you guys 100%. This is truly the culmination and celebration of the leadership of Dr. Null and a great team of outstanding professionals who not only rose to the COVID-19 challenge and met those requirements, you far exceeded any expectations in this unprecedented time that we would ever think that anyone could come up with, and you guys hammered it. So I'm so honored to be in your presence tonight. Your dedication and gallantry is truly inspirational to me as I saw you come up and smiles and the happiness you have. It is truly inspirational. I thank you so much. Dr. Null has a great team of professionals. That great team rose to expectations. That great team challenged them. That great team hammered them. That great team is you. Thank you so much. God bless you.
All right, if y'all can like step forward, and we're all gonna follow Sean. Okay, Sean's the leader of the bunch here.
Sean's in charge.
Sean's coming. Step forward. Here we go.
No pressure. No pressure, Sean.
Thank you for all you do. We appreciate you. We appreciate you very much.
God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you. Thanks so much.
We appreciate
Thanks for all you do. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, hero. Thank you, hero. You guys are my hero. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Proud of you, man.
Thanks so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Keep going. Round two. Keep going. Thank you so much.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you
everything.
very much. Outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate
Great
it.
job. Great job. Thank you so much. Thank you for all
Thank you for everything.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate all you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very, very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My hero. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, sir.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Thanks for all you do for the district. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mr. Hubert, if I may, that was the first time all those people have seen each other in 18 months, so that's why they're all just very giddy to see each other. Like, instead of just the Zoom version of each other. But I'd just like to make the point that everybody that works in this building knows very clearly why we come to work every day, and the reason that we come to work every day is to serve those that are working on a campus and to serve the children that are in the buildings. And so as we are now approaching Teacher Appreciation Month next month, and on May 4th, we're going to have our annual Salute to Education ceremony. It'll be held virtually this year, but we can't celebrate the teacher spirit without celebrating the teachers that are here tonight in the room. So I would like to ask all campus staff, teachers, librarians, paraprofessionals, if y'all would stand up just so that we could say thank you to you tonight as well. This group is awesome, and I know they're not, I know they have no idea because nobody's doing a countdown, especially not this year, but there's 26 days of school left. And we've earned it this year, and so to have come this far and to have been this successful, we're thankful for all of our campus staff, so thank you all so much. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for allowing me to do that.
Yes, sir, absolutely. I appreciate it as well. You know, it's really neat when I look on my agenda here, once again, we have the students going first and then the teachers that make it happen going last, and that's probably how they want it because they're here for the students and the kids, and everybody's excited about all the accomplishments that these kids made, but certainly getting to recognize you for allowing these kids to even have those accomplishments and have this year has been, it's wonderful. So I'm very honored to lead the school board and work with Dr. Knoll and hear of all the accomplishments you guys make. So thank you for what y'all do. I appreciate you. Moving on to item 3, citizen participation. Do we have anybody that has signed up?
Yes, we have 5 members.
Very good. Okay, very good. So the next item on the agenda is public comments for those who have registered to address the board in accordance with the board policy BED. Everyone is reminded that this portion of the meeting is not the appropriate forum for bringing complaints from which resolution is sought. Before complaints can be submitted to the Board of Trustees in an agenda item, they must be addressed by following the appropriate policies and administrative procedures. Also, please keep in mind that the board has an obligation to protect the confidentiality of information that could personally identify a student. The board cannot permit comments that include student names or any information that might identify a specific student. This prohibition does not apply to the person speaking is the student's parents or guardian or is over the age of 18 and speaking about him or herself. If an issue is mentioned that is on tonight's posted agenda, the board will defer its discussion of the issue until the item is reached on the agenda. For any subject that is not on the board's posted agenda, the board cannot deliberate or make a decision, but it can furnish specific factual information or cite existing policy in response to the inquiries. Each person is limited to no more than 5 minutes for that presentation. This will allow the board to hear from citizens as well as ensure that the board meeting runs efficiently, as there are many important items on the board's agenda that must be considered. Everyone in attendance is reminded to treat all speakers with respect, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with the speaker's message. Any person who does not conduct him or herself accordingly will be asked to leave or will be escorted from the room. So we allow 5 minutes. Most groups allow 2 to 3 minutes. And so when your 5 minutes is up, you'll hear a bell. We just ask that you respect that and move on. So Ms. Godfrey, would you please call your first person?
Nicole May.
Do I need to move this or just?
Yeah, no, you did
Good?
perfectly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Haven't been here in a while. Hello,
I know it.
everybody. Good evening, President Hubert. It's the first time I said that. Members of the board and Dr. Knoll. I am here tonight to talk about dyslexia. I am the mom of 2 dyslexic sons, and we are also fostering a fellow CISD student that is also dyslexic. I am the founder and admin of a dyslexia group for fellow dyslexic families in our district. Our group has grown to include 277 dyslexia families. I guess you could say dyslexia is my passion. There is currently a bill in the Texas House that many stakeholders in the state support, House Bill 3880, and its companion bill in the Senate 1694. This crucial piece of legislation will protect the rights of dyslexic students all over the state by aligning identification and services with federal law. Currently, the state of Texas is out of compliance with IDEA and subsequently continues to get fined by the Department of Education. We understand TEA and many members of the SBOE are supportive of the bills. As a parent of dyslexic sons, I can tell you that the dual pathway to services is confusing and ambiguous. I understand the status quo is also muddy for districts too. We approached Representative Steve Toth and asked for his support on this bill. He subsequently co-authored the bill. Representative Will Metcalf has followed suit and co-authored the bill as well. Local stakeholders could not have asked for more from our state representatives. Likewise, we would like to thank Board Member Scott Moore for supporting the bill and working behind the scenes to help get this important piece of legislation passed. There is a 2-pronged approach to help align dyslexia under IDEA. The second prong includes a meaningful revision of the Texas Dyslexia Handbook. I, along with many fellow stakeholders, recently testified in favor of the revision at the latest SBOE Committee of Instruction meeting. As a result of the many testimonies shared by dyslexic families across the state, the committee will now reopen the handbook. But we need the laws in place to give the revision teeth. We are working relentlessly at this point to push for the House of Representatives Public Education Committee to give 3880 a hearing. I, along with my dyslexic sons, will be making a trip to our state capitol later this week to lobby for the bill. We support this bill for our family, for local dyslexic families, and for fellow dyslexic families all over the state. Thank you so much for your time, and I will send an email tomorrow to each of you with additional information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms.
Thank you.
May.
Thank you.
Diane Daniels.
Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. I'm sending you this notice, and I pass on notice to all of you. On behalf of the Conroe Independent School District students, my findings raise significant concerns, both medically and legally, of the current mask policy in place. Masks are ineffective for the purpose claimed by the mandate, potentially harmful, and only authorized for the use by the EUA. There have been hundreds of mask studies related to influenza transmission over several decades. It is well established that masks do not stop viruses. Part of that evidence shows that cloth masks actually increase influenza-linked illnesses. Bacteria are 50 times larger than virus particles. As such, virus particles can enter through the mask pores, yet bacteria remains trapped inside the mask, resulting in mask wearer continually exposed to this bacteria. Related to the 1918 and 1919 influenza pandemic was almost universal agreement among experts that deaths were virtually never caused by the influenza virus itself, but were directly formed from the severe secondary pneumonia caused by well-known bacteria pneumopathogens that colonize the upper respiratory tract. Dr. Fauci and his National Institute of Health studied pandemics and epidemics and concluded the vast majority of influenza deaths resulted from secondary bacterial pneumonia. All parties mandating the use of face masks are not only willfully ignoring established science, but are engaging in what amounts to the whole school clinical experimental trial. This conclusion is reached by the fact that face masks used and COVID-19 incidents are being reported in scientific opinion pieces promoted by the CDC and others. The fact is, after reviewing all the studies worldwide, the CDC found no reduction in viral transmission with the use of a face mask. Additionally, children have been repeatedly shown not to be drivers of this COVID. It is well accepted that children have statistically zero chance of dying from COVID. The CDC has showed K through 12 mortality rate from or with COVID is 0.0003. Furthermore, the mandatory mouth masks in school is a major threat to a child's development. It ignores the essential needs of a growing child. The well-being of children and young people is highly dependent on the emotional connection with others. Masks create a threatening and unsafe environment where emotional connection becomes difficult. Regardless of the lack of safety and efficacy behind the decision to require a child to wear a mask, it is illegal to mandate an EUA-approved investigational medical therapies without informed consent. Masks used for viral transmission prevention is authorized for emergency use only. This statute further recognizes the well-settled doctrine that medical experiments or clinical research may not be performed on human subjects without express informed consent of individuals receiving treatment. The right to avoid the imposition of human experimentation is fundamental. Rooted in the Nuremberg Code of 1947, has been ratified by the 1964 Declaration of Helsinki, and further coincide with the United States Codes of the Federal Regulations. By requiring children to wear a mask, you are promoting the idea that the mask can prevent or treat a disease, which is an illegal deception practice. It is unlawful to advertise that the product or service can prevent disease unless you possess competent and reliable scientific evidence substantiating that this claim is true. There is no efficacy standards on child-sized masks or respirators under OSHA, but are proven microbial challenges as well as breathing difficulties that are created and exacerbated by masking children. Requiring children to wear a mask sets the stage for contracting any infection, including COVID-19, and making consequences of the infection much graver. In essence, a mask may very well put children at an increased risk of infection, and if so, having far worse outcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Kathy Loketcha? Yes, thank you. That's fine. Well, thank you, Dr. Knoll and the board for allowing me to share with you tonight. My name is Kathy Losetta, and my family and I have lived in Montgomery County since 1991. Our son attended Conroe ISD schools from kindergarten through 12th grade. He is married, and his wife, they are both engineers. My husband and I are specialty ministers at our church. We are authors of 2 books. We lead Faith Votes Ministry at our church, which equips, informs, activates Christian patriots in local, state, and national politics. I am a board member on the Montgomery County Eagle Forum, a precinct chair, and an election judge. I am here tonight as a Montgomery County taxpayer and a concerned citizen to share my thoughts about the current Conroe ISD policies regarding coronavirus and masks. I have been swimming, and that was a great coincidence that the team was here, because I've seen them all the time in their locker rooms. So I've been swimming at the Nat since it opened. It's a wonderful facility. However, since it reopened after the pandemic, the mask-wearing policy is absurd.
A recent article published on April 14th in Outdoor Swimmer states that chlorine kills the virus in 30 seconds. Yet the NAT employees must wear a mask all day, and swimmers must wear a mask until they dive into the pool. This useless mask-wearing mandate must end immediately. Upon entering the NAT one day, I saw Director of Operations Chris McCord, who I remembered from our son attending McCullough Junior High School. I spoke with him about the mask-wearing policy, and he said that he was seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. That was a month ago. After that, I sent a letter to Superintendent Knoll sharing information about facts about mask wearing. I received a quick response stating that the current policies will not change until the end of the school year. Why didn't they end on March 10th when Governor Abbott rescinded his unconstitutional mask mandate? Why don't they end now? Has the Conroe ISD Board researched the negative emotional and physical impact of long-term mask wearing on children, teens, and adults? Is the Conroe ISD Board aware of the recent article in Education News published April 19th, 2021, titled, "Stanford Study Quietly Published at NIH.gov Proves Face Masks Are Absolutely Worthless Against COVID"? Is the Conroe ISD Board aware that COVID virus is 0.1 microns or 0.000039 inches? Therefore, the masks that we are all wearing are utterly useless because they can filter particles 0.3 microns or larger, so the viruses can get right through. A doctor said that wearing a mask to prevent the spread of coronavirus is like using a chain-link fence to keep mosquitoes out of your backyard. I have handouts with pictures of this if anyone would like to see them. Is the Conroe ISD Board aware that on January 20th, the WHO lowered the PCR test cycles from 40 cycles to 20 cycles, which resulted in large reductions in the number of positive test results? Does the Conroe ISD Board know that Kary Mullis, the inventor of the PCR test, was awarded a Nobel Chemistry Prize? Mullis said that by using certain protocols for the PCR test, scientists can come up with results they want, and if they do it well, can find almost anything in anybody. I have heard that Conroe ISD is following CDC guidelines for COVID protocol. Is the board aware that the CDC is a quasi-government entity because it has sources of funding through the CDC Foundation, which is a private 501c3 public charity chartered by the Congress? The CDC Foundation receives charitable contributions and grants from individuals, foundations, corporations, universities, and NGOs, like the Clinton Foundation. We have all heard the phrase, follow the money. Is the CISD Board aware of the article on the Children's Health Defense site titled, "CDC and WHO Corrupt Financial Entanglements with Vaccine Industry"? Every time I drive to the NAT, I feel like I am going through the checkpoint Charlie due to the national. I'm almost finished.
We have to move on, though. We understand your point. It's very well taken, and we really do appreciate your time, but we have to cut it. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Susan Scruggs. My husband and I have lived in Montgomery County since 2010, and we have 3 granddaughters in 3 different schools in CISD. And I was amazed at the athletes. I have 2 athlete grandchildren, and they are just amazing kids. Y'all have done an amazing job with this COVID. And getting our kids back to school in September has been amazing. Thank you so much for everything y'all have done. I know it's been a difficult year for everyone. and the teachers have been just incredible. What I wanted to talk to you about, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is the other two ladies had mentioned mask. I have a background in the pharmaceutical industry. I've been worked for 3 different pharmaceutical companies, so I like clinical studies, I like trials, I like all the science, I like all of that. And it was brought to my attention that a major study came out just last week. And it was done by Stanford University and in conjunction with the NIH. And it was published by the NIH. And it has some really good information. I'm sorry I don't have copies for you. I would love to make copies and get them to you if you are wanting that. But I'm just going to read some of the data from this very shortly. The data suggests that both medical and non-medical face masks are ineffective to block human-to-human transmission of viral and infectious disease such as SARS, COVID-2, or COVID-19. It supports not using face masks. And as this lady just said, the particles of the virus it's 1,000 times smaller than the face mask threads of any of the face masks. Any face mask that you have on will not stop COVID-19 molecule. The molecule is 1,000 times smaller than anything that you can put on except an N95 mask, which most people don't wear N95 masks. It impedes your oxygen levels, and it makes it very hard to breathe, and they're very expensive, and they're hard to find. Going on, it says that wearing face masks have adverse psychological, physiological effects. It has long-term consequences, and it's detrimental to your health. What happens with a face mask, according to this study, is that your oxygen levels go down, which I know that's been talked about for months, but they have proven that, and then your CO2 levels go up. The CO2 levels are what's harmful to you, and they've done a study, they've come out with charts and graphs of what low oxygen and high CO2 levels can do to your body. You have shortness of breath, acidosis, toxicity, inflammation, self-contamination, and that would just be you're infecting yourself with bacteria and making yourself sick from that. Muscle tension, immunosuppression, infections, cancer, headaches, hypertension. Some of the psychological effects, chronic stress, fear, mood disturbances, insomnia, fatigue, compromised cognitive performance. I would think that would be number 1 for a school district. Anxiety and depression. These are serious. This is a major study that's been done by a major university, published by the NIH. And what I'm asking you to do is really to search your hearts, read the research, look into it. The only study, they had one study substantiating mask, and it was because of droplets. There might be one droplet, so you have to wear a mask. And there's been many, many studies over the years that don't substantiate wearing masks. Why don't we wear masks for the flu? Because it doesn't work. And there's roughly 80,000 people that die every year of the flu. It doesn't work. So that's basically all I have to say. The conclusion was wearing face masks has demonstrated substantial adverse psychological and physiological effects.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms.
I
Brooks.
appreciate you. Thank you.
Andrew Proctor.
Good evening. I'm here today to ask the district and the board to create a policy that really keeps teachers, staff, administrators' personal political views out of the classroom. And I'm also here to say if that policy does exist, it's absolutely failing consistently on a daily basis. I'm a huge proponent of the First Amendment. I believe in that, especially in public schools. What I don't believe in is students being ostracized because a teacher holds a certain political view that they're vocal about. I don't believe in students having to be scared for themselves to express their own First Amendment, again, to be ostracized or to get a poor grade. It's absolutely happening in the schools. This should be a top priority for the district to make sure that staff is acting with tact. So, the conversations that I had when I attended a Conroe Independent School District high school, and now that my siblings I hear are having with their teachers. I mean, what these teachers are saying, I wouldn't say to my friends at a bar, and they're bringing their closely held views that are heinous at times into the classroom. So I would really ask the board to not stampede on anybody's free speech, but understand that a policy that prevents teachers' personal political beliefs coming in the classroom, that needs to be established. And if there is one established, it's absolutely failing and it should be investigated. And I suppose with the remainder of my time, I would ask the board to truly listen to what the previous three speakers said. It's impactful. These are your constituents. This is who you should be listening to. You should not go against the will of the constituents. And believe me, there are thousands that hold this exact same belief. So when I hear that somebody responds in an email, that's our policy and we're not changing it until the end of the school year, that's upsetting. A school district should be out to keep the safety of our students a top priority, not have blanket policies. Thank you very much. I yield my time.
Thank you. That's all? Okay, very good. Thank you for those that have participated and appreciate everybody's attendance. Moving to item 4, consent agenda. Not hearing anybody wanting to remove anything from that, I entertain a motion.
So
move. We have a
Second.
motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of, up at a hand? Any opposed? Very good. Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, if there are no objections from the other board members, I'd ask that we move agenda item 10 up to the spot on the agenda.
Any objections? Hearing none. Very good. We will move item 10 up, which is human resources. So we will go to item 10A, naming principal of Burnham Woods Elementary School, Dr. Knoll.
All right, thank you very much. This is an exciting time of year as we look to the future, and we have this opportunity to bring in and elevate people into the principal role. We understand how important that role is and that amount of influence that they have, as was mentioned earlier. We will start today by naming a new principal of Burnham Woods Elementary School, and I will tell you that I'm very excited to make a recommendation to you all today. Dr. Makia Barnes is an educator that has been close to Conroe ISD for many years, and now we have an opportunity to bring her officially into the family as one of our educators. She raises her family in Conroe ISD. Our students, her own children attend Conroe ISD. She's been an educator in Spring ISD and most recently a principal in Houston ISD. And I will tell you that she interviewed in front of 2 committees last week in Conroe ISD, and every single principal on those committees came to me individually and said, this is the type of leader that we need in Conroe ISD. So I'm excited tonight to make the recommendation to you for Dr. Makia Barnes to be the principal of Burnham Woods.
Do we have a motion?
I'd move approval of the recommendation for Dr. Makia Barnes as principal of Burnham Woods.
There you go. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations.
President Hubert, members of the board, and Dr. Knoll. I was so anxious sitting in that chair waiting for this moment, but thank you. I am so honored and so excited to be able to come home and lead in the community where I live. Great things have been happening at Burnham Wood over the past few years, and I am honored to have been chosen to carry on that legacy. In my heart, I'm just full of excitement. I'm sorry that I'm stuttering over my words, but I know that we live in a district where opportunities are highly sought, so I do not take this opportunity lightly. I promise to give my best daily to the Bulldog students, to the staff, and to the community. I have my family here with me tonight. I would like to thank them as well for their support. I have my husband, Brian, my children, Dominic and Bea. It's actually Bea's 13th birthday, so I'm sharing the day with her. As well as my mother, Jacqueline, and my friends, Tamika and Deidre. I'm just thankful for them being here to support me. I'm thankful to everyone who I've encountered, who's welcomed me with open arms and such a kind and just warm spirit. I'm looking forward to an awesome first year and many years to come, and I'm ready to hear that bulldog growl.
You don't get away without us. These good Congratulations. Congratulations. Welcome. Glad you're here.
Welcome to Conroe ISD. Congratulations. Good job.
Congratulations.
Outstanding, congratulations. Tell your mom I said congratulations also.
That's all right. That's all right. Congratulations. All right, item B, name principal of Sam Houston Elementary School, Dr. Knoll.
All right, thank you once again. As you know, the staff at Sam Houston has done tremendous work over the last 3 to 4 years, and the growth that we've seen in that campus. And our leader there, Viviana Harris, has made a move down to Ford Elementary, which is where she started her administrative career, and that's a wonderful place for her to lead. But that left really a large hole there at Sam Houston, and we know how important leadership is there. So we have been able to reach out and bring back a familiar face. So this name is familiar to you. Paula Nicolini served as an assistant principal at Conroe High School. She's also served as the principal of what was Hawk High School before going off on an educational adventure and then having some family obligations that took her all over the country and the world. And yet she's found her way back here, and we know because we've seen the level of hard work and love for students and dedication that she has, that she is the right person to go in and work with the great team that's in place at Sam Houston. So I'm honored tonight to make the recommendation for Paula Nicolini to be the principal of Sam Houston Elementary.
Very good. Do we
Mr.
have
President, I move approval of Paula Nicolini as principal at Sam Houston Elementary School.
We have a motion and we have a second. Very good. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? Very good, Ms. Nicolini. Congratulations.
President Hubert, members of the Board of Trustees, and Dr. Knoll, thank you a million times over for giving me this opportunity to come home to Conroe ISD and serve as principal of Sam Houston Elementary. I'm truly ecstatic. Sorry, I'm reading because I'm nervous. I would like to acknowledge and thank Dr. Hines, Dr. Taylor, Dr. Winkler, and Dr. Upshaw for encouraging me and offering their further guidance and support. I would also like to acknowledge and thank Ms. Viviana Harris and her entire staff for the excellent work they've been doing at Houston Elementary and all the love they've been giving the students during these trying times of COVID. I'm honored to join their staff and excited to get to know them. I also want to thank another group, that's my former CISD colleagues at Conroe High School and Hawk, who shared their love and passion for education. And special thanks to Dr. Stickler, who has been my mentor and a great example of a servant leader. And he texted me tonight and said, "Do you mind if I come?" That was awesome. So thank you, sir. And then this was my little paragraph about my past. Dr. Knoll stole it, but I'm going to go real fast. 3 years ago, I resigned from CISD to go work in China. And I got there, and then my mom was diagnosed with cancer. So I came home, and she has since passed away and joined my dad in heaven. And I have 5 wonderful grown-up children who are in 4 different states. And I decided I wanted to go back to being an administrator because at the time now I wasn't helping with my mom. And I could go anywhere, do anything. And I was a person that moved around as a child, so not to tear up. I thought, where's home? I don't know where home is anymore. And it was Conroe ISD for me. That's where my friends were. That's where what my purpose was. I felt where God was leading me. And I actually came here and bought a condo before I had a job. I thought, I'll get one eventually, I'll do something. So I am so grateful and thankful to Conroe ISD for welcoming me back and to God for bringing me here, and I hope I make you all proud. So thank you very much for taking me back in.
Welcome back, Paula. So glad to have you back. See you again.
Thank you, I know. Welcome back.
Welcome and congratulations.
I've stood at that podium before and forgotten my name, so like it's understandable to forget to walk. I get it.
Awesome. Welcome home. All right, item C, name principal of Crier Intermediate School, Dr. Knoll.
So we also spend a lot of time investing in our current administrators. We want to grow the leaders that we've had in our buildings and have served as assistant principals, and we've really seen that here. We've seen a man that has really grown through his positions. He spent many years at Grangerland Intermediate and the great work that goes on in the Caney Creek feeder. He's been an assistant principal at Grangerland. He's also served as an assistant principal at Mitchell, which gives him very diverse experiences, and he's learned how to meet the needs of all learners and really work within the community. He's had great examples from Karen Jones, who I see here tonight, is been just a wonderful example to learn from. And so tonight I'm excited to make the recommendation of John McClendon to be the principal for Crier Intermediate School.
All right, do we have a motion?
Move approval of John McClendon as principal of Crier Intermediate School.
All right.
Second.
And we have a second. Any discussion? Very good. All those in favor? Any opposed? Congratulations. You have a new principal at Crier.
President Hubert, members of the board, Dr. Knoll. It's a great honor to be entrusted with the principal position at Crier Intermediate. I'm excited to have the opportunity to work side by side with the fabulous staff and students at Crier Intermediate. I want to start by thanking the Board of Trustees for their ever-continued work that drives CISD to excellence. I also want to thank Dr. Knoll for his incredible vision and the ability to foster what CISD embodies. Thank you, Dr. Hines, for your wisdom and insight that you've shared with me, and thank you, Dr. Winkler, for taking time to always listen and help me grow. Special thank you belongs to the principals I've worked under. Ms. Karen Jones, principal, Grangerland Intermediate. Ms. Paula Kopleski, principal, Mitchell Intermediate. Their wisdom that they shared with me during the past years are a large part of who I am today. Their support and integrity are unwavering, and I simply do not have enough time to adequately share my appreciation. Finally, I must thank my biggest supporter, my wife, Tara. She's encouraged me when I felt down, cheered for me during tough times, and prodded me when I was being lazy. I owe her far more than words can express. I'm thrilled to continue the journey towards excellence with Crier Intermediate. I look forward to getting to know each and every staff, student, and parent as we work together towards our common goals. I want to introduce my wife, Tara, my two boys, Riley, Quinn. Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations to you.
Got a cheering section behind you there.
Yeah, congrats, man.
Congrats.
Congratulations, sir. Thank you much.
Very good, very good. All right, item D, name principal of York Junior High School.
All right, once again, very excited to make this recommendation tonight. As I described, Dr. Barnes earlier talked about this dynamic interview, come in and really blow away an interview committee. And 2 years ago, we had a similar situation when we were able to hire an assistant principal from Klein to come in and be our principal at Oak Ridge 9th grade campus. And that was Melanie Bujnak. And she absolutely wowed the interview committee, and I will tell you that every single day that she's been here, she's lived up to that high billing that she set for herself, that high bar. And she's truly an educational leader. She's really focused on success for all students. And that's a challenge that we'll need at York, because they've done great work at York. Brian Lee has really done an excellent job. But York continues to grow, and within the next 2 years, York will be the largest junior high in Conroe ISD and probably one of the largest junior highs in the state of Texas. And so it's going to need strong leadership, and we know that we will get that from Ms. Bujnak, because we've seen it on a daily basis here at Oak Ridge 9. So I'm proud to make the recommendation for Melanie Bujnak to be the principal of York Junior High.
All right, we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So move.
All right.
A second motion.
And a second. Very good. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Congratulations, Ms. Bujnak.
Thank you. Good evening, President Hubert, members of the board, Dr. Knoll. I really appreciate the honor of getting to serve as the principal at York Junior High. Also, most of you guys were here 2 years ago when you approved me to work at Oak Ridge 9 as the principal. So I just want to tell you, thank you for giving me that opportunity. The faith and the confidence that you had in me, that Dr. Levecki had, who he promised was going to wear an orange tie tonight, but he did not.
You wore blue. That's pretty good. Both ways, blue.
Close enough. The red is the color that's changing to orange. Mr. Colshin just allowed me to grow in my leadership, and just my experiences here have really taught me to, love the students and staff in Conroe ISD in a way that I was nervous about, but when I was moving districts. And Oak Ridge 9 is always going to have a special place in my heart. I know there are good things to come for that campus, and regardless of where I am, I'm always going to be an Oak Ridge War Eagle, and I'm always going to want what's best for them. I definitely wouldn't be here today without the support of my family and friends. A couple of them are here to celebrate. So my mom is here, my sister, my nephew. Countless other people that I've grown to love while being in Conroe ISD have supported me. It feels a little bittersweet to move, but I'm really excited about what's to come at York, and I'm excited to be part of the Grand Oaks feeder family. I really look forward to working with the students and parents and staff at York to make sure we're ensuring those equitable and excellent outcomes for all students. I'm really grateful for this opportunity, and I'm ready to be a Grizzly. Thank you.
All right.
You'll do awesome.
Congratulations. Congrats once again.
Principal Bujnak, congratulations.
Very good. I think that is it for all of our principals.
It is. And Mr. Hubert, if you don't mind, if we can maybe, I know there's a 13th birthday celebration that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's right.
probably better somewhere other than here. So maybe we can give them an opportunity to
5 minutes.
exit if that's okay. Yeah, if we can maybe take 5 minutes.
Let's take a 5-minute break and we'll come back. All right, we will reconvene our meeting of the Conroe ISD School Board. Appreciate everybody hanging in with us. All right, moving on to item 5A, receive information on the naming process of new Conroe ISD campuses and facilities.
I was about to turn to Ms. Blakelock just now and say, man, I feel sorry for whoever has to present next. Then I looked, I was like, oh, Ms. Blakelock. So luckily, she can carry the room. So Ms. Blakelock.
Very kind. It is a little bit exciting because everybody enjoys throwing their name suggestion in the hat. So President Hubert, members of the board, and Dr. Knoll, I am excited to be able to share with you information tonight about the naming process for Conroe ISD facilities. So first, just a brief overview of our timeline. We are initiating the process tonight. Starting tomorrow on our website, we will be accepting suggestions for names through our website. We will accept those through May 14th. On May 18th, I will come back to you again to present the submissions for your consideration. And then on June 15th, we'll come back again and you will get to discuss any potential names for these facilities. So here's the really interesting part. The first facility that we're talking about tonight is Flex 21 in the Conroe feeder. This is one of the elementary schools from our bond referendum. It is located off of McCaleb Road, and it is scheduled to open in August of 2022. Right now, the grade levels are projected to be K through 6. The next school is also a bond referendum campus. It is the new junior high in the Caney Creek feeder zone. This is scheduled to open in August of 2023. It does have an estimated capacity of 1,600. And this building is a replacement for the current Moorhead Junior High, which brings us to our next interesting slide. This campus is located on Granger Road, and you're going to get to see some great pictures from Easy later in the meeting.
When was Flex 21 scheduled?
August of 2022.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Moorhead Junior High, with the opening of a new junior high, the decision now is presented to you on what the name should be for that campus, or should the current building retain the Moorhead name. So the current facility that is called Moorhead Junior High opened in 2001, originally as Grangerland Intermediate. It is located right across the street from Caney Creek High School. And as I mentioned, this will be an intermediate with the opening of the new junior high. Now, the district does have experience moving a name or leaving a name with a facility, so it really is, at the board's pleasure. And, you may receive a lot of lovely suggestions over the next coming weeks. But a recent example is Washington High School. The name stayed with the building when we opened Stockton. An example of where we moved the name was York Junior High. Whenever the new building was opened, it was moved, and the old building is now Oak Ridge 9th grade campus. So that is an example. Our next facility to present to you is the Teacher Training Center. This is projected to open in the spring of 2022. It is located on the Wood Forest Bank Stadium facility property, and it will be replacing the Jet Center, which was sold to the city of Conroe. And our final facility isn't actually a facility. It is a school, but it doesn't have brick and mortar. So we don't actually have any board policy outlining the guidelines for naming this, but it is still a program that needs a name, because we hope it will be starting in the fall and serving students in grades 3 through 9. So with that, just a brief overview. We do have all of our policies in CW Local about naming facilities. All of these, except for the virtual school, fall under number 3 that is listed on this presentation that I'll also have on the website tomorrow. So schools can be named after locations, prominent people, landowners, so there really is a true variety. And just to remind you one last time, the timeline, I'll be back in a month with some names that have been submitted, and then back to you to present the item again in June for your consideration. Are there any questions?
Ms. Blakelock, I have a question. My only question is, when will the board be having any discussion? Is it at the June the 15th meeting?
It is.
Okay, thank you.
The overview in May 18th is really just where I show
Just
listed
providing the
names.
information again.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Okay, all right. I look forward to seeing you next month.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to item 6A, consider approval of guaranteed maximum price amendment to the Oak Ridge High School overhaul and South County CTE Center project, and authorize the superintendent to negotiate and execute contract documents.
Okay, Mr. Foster.
Well, good evening, President Hubert, members of the board, and Dr. Null. It's my pleasure to bring forward for your consideration and approval the guaranteed maximum price amendment for our Oak Ridge High School overhaul and our South County CTE Center project, which is a result of our 2019 bond referendum. If you recall, in March of 2020, you, our Board of Trustees, selected Duratech Inc. to be our construction manager at risk for the Oak Ridge High School overhaul and South County CTE project. Since then, Duratech, our design team, the IBI group, and Conroe ISD, various departments have been working together to develop the scope of work for this project. Duratech has advertised, or we have advertised, Duratech has received bids and has prepared a proposal of $50,726,363. This time we request your approval.
All right.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All right. Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Tell me again, so Duratech is a CMAR.
Yes, sir.
And then who is the contract being?
So the contract is with Duratec for the construction of this project.
Okay,
So I just listed, I read for you the team involved. Our architect is the IBI group.
right,
And they work together with Duratec developing the scope with us, our department, the campus,
okay.
and several others.
Okay. When I read through board book, I really couldn't tell much about the scope of work. So can you give me some details?
Absolutely.
Good.
So the project is essentially an overhaul of Oak Ridge High School, much like
Right.
we're experiencing at Conroe High School. It's a multi-year, multi-phased project. So this current phase and the current bond focuses on setting up the mechanical and electrical systems for a big-time overhaul over the life of the campus. So that's the bones of the work. We're also recreating how the school looks. So if you recall, we purchased a piece of land a couple of months ago that allowed us to build a road around the school rather than carrying the public road through it. So that road will be going around, and as such, we'll be able to move the admin space. So the front door of Oak Ridge High School is going to be relocated to a better suited location for the whole campus. And by doing that, it also opens up the ability to open up Main Street to have a more manageable campus from front door to back door. So where the students come in, where the visitors and staff come in, we'll be able to manage much like we do most of our high schools, where you can see all the way through the campus. And then as we're going around the CTE portion for the South County, so that project is integral to the scope. So we're adding on to the building to create that South County CTE Center.
And as I understand, the CTE Center will be South County, so we will involve the other high schools, allowing them to come over and participate in CTE programs that may be unique and only in one location.
Yes, sir.
Due to
And we've got
cost.
some of the big dirty labs like automotive technology, some
Right.
engineering design, nursing,
Right.
intro to culinary. So a lot of those labs are in this program.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Foster.
All right. Any other questions or discussions? Nope. All right, very good. We'll call the motion. All those in favor? Very good. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Foster. All right, item B, consider approval of guaranteed maximum price amendment for the Wilkerson Intermediate School PE classroom addition project and authorize the superintendent to negotiate and execute the contract documents.
Mr. Foster.
So at this time, I bring forward for consideration and approval the guaranteed maximum price amendment for the Wilkerson Intermediate PE classroom addition, which is essentially a gym addition, so that campus will have its a dedicated PE space instead of the mixed-use cafeteria and PE. So in January of 2020, you or board selected GTT General Contractors to be our construction manager at risk for this project, and it's really all the PE addition projects. We started at Runyon, now we're at Wilkerson. Next, we'll move to Collins next year. So GTT's been working with our design team, which for this set of projects is the DLR group, and our campus and our other departments in the district, to develop the scope of work that fits that campus. And GTT, since then, has received bids and prepared a proposal of $5,338,439. At this time, we request your approval.
I move we approve as presented.
All right, I have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion?
I just want to clarify, I think you answered my question. So GTT did Runyon as well.
Yes, sir.
So they've got great experience, understand completely about what we're trying to get done, and should be able to carry out the contract. All right, thank
Yes, sir.
you. I just want to verify that.
Which direction off that existing building is this going? Is it going to the east off the existing cafeteria, gymnatorium, or is it?
So if you're on the bus ramp looking at the cafeteria from the outside, it will be to the left, which I get technically is south of that campus.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All right. Very good. All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? Very good. Passes. Very, very happy for Wilkerson Intermediate. It's well overdue. All right, item C, consider and approve the selection of the construction manager at risk of the new elementary in the Grand Oaks feeder zone Flex 22 project and authorize the superintendent to negotiate and execute the construction manager at risk documents. Mr. Foster.
Good. And at this time, we will bring forward for your consideration and approval the construction manager at risk for what we're calling Flex 22, which is a new elementary school in the Grand Oaks feeder zone. So we've worked with our design team. So the Flex School designers for the last several has been IBI Group, and they worked with our purchasing department and our department in planning construction to publish a request for qualifications for construction managers at risk. We had 10 companies respond to our RFQ, and in accordance with state law, we're only allowed to invite five, no more than five, to participate in the second step of our two-step process. Our committee reviewed each of the respondents' qualifications, and we did invite 5 companies to participate in step 2. So we invited Brookstone, Duratec Inc., Joris General Contractors, Marshall Construction, and Pogue Construction Company, and each did participate in our second step of the process. The second step is the pricing portion, where we can evaluate general conditions, fees, and pre-construction services. Following that, our committee has selected Duratec Inc. as the proposer who is determined to be the best value for the district, according to our published criteria in our ranking evaluation, which we've made a part of the item, as we always do. At this time, we're requesting your approval of Duratec as the selection as construction manager at risk.
We have a motion, and then do we need a second?
Second.
We have a second. All right, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Very good, motion passes. And receive some capital improvements, Mr. Foster.
Awesome.
Some updated pictures.
Updated pictures, absolutely. So tonight, I'd like to bring you up to speed and bring you some information on our capital improvements we have underway throughout the district. So I'm going to start with Reuben Hope Junior Elementary School, the Hope Huskies. It is scheduled to open in August of 2021, which is this coming August. So you can see from our pictures here, like I told you last month, you're starting to see green grass pop up around the campus. You can see the temporary irrigation in the backyard and all the topsoil spread to help get us a good stand of grass growing before the students come for the first day of school in August. On the inside, you're seeing light fixtures, you're seeing finishes, you're seeing things come together as we prepare to receive the furniture for that campus. So this is a shot inside your library, so we're obviously installing carpet at this point, and in our classrooms, they're nearing completion, so this one here is cleaned and protected. Like I said, it is on schedule, scheduled to open in August of 2021. So moving on to York Junior High School, this is an addition which increases the capacity of York Junior High, which, as Dr. Knoll alluded to, brings it to be one of the largest in the state. So we're expanding the classroom section, we're expanding the fine arts and athletics. So from this picture, you can see roofing is near complete, masonry is near complete. On the inside of the building, you're seeing our classrooms come together. Here, casework is in, obviously. We're working on firing up the light fixtures and getting the inside of the building lit up. It is on schedule, and it's scheduled to turn over in August of 2021, so this coming summer when students return from break. At the Woodlands College Park High School is a building addition that helps us to reduce our reliance on portables. So again, just like York, the masonry is essentially complete. The roof is nearly complete as well. And on the inside of that building, you're seeing ceiling grid light fixtures and the finishes of that classroom addition come together. It is also on scheduled to open in August when the students return from summer break. At the Woodlands High School, likewise, it's an addition to help us reduce our reliance on portables. And just like York and College Park, the masonry is essentially done. The roof is essentially done. This one is a 3-story addition, so the curtain wall windows you can see protected on the end of the building there are nearing their completion. And on the inside, just like the other two, we're seeing the finishes and the light fixtures and things of that nature come together. It is also scheduled to open in August of 2021, which is when the students return from summer break. Our campus renovations project, which is our 2021 installment, is several campuses, but currently we're working at Armstrong Elementary, where we're creating some new classroom space that will allow us to take over classroom space as a kitchen and serving line addition to help better and more efficiently serve the population that attends that campus. As you can see here, obviously the building slab is in place. Our building steel has been delivered, so erection is going on. And this one is scheduled, it is on schedule. It is a short fuse project, but it is a small addition and is scheduled to turn over in August when the students return from their summer break as well. Likewise, another campus on our campus renovations project is the life cycle replacement of the turf carpet, essentially at Moorhead Stadium. We started this a couple of weeks ago, and it is scheduled to finish by the end of May, so it can be ready for the summer camp activity that happens at a normal high school campus. Because we are taking with the Conroe High School project, we're taking over their practice facilities this summer. So we rushed this portion so that the high school could have a practice facility during the summer. You can see the turf is being installed. They're working on the gold soccer lines currently. The new logos are in place, so it is actually coming together very well. It is on schedule, and like I said, this portion will be finished at the end of May. This summer, we're moving to Ride Elementary, where we'll start a campus air conditioning overhaul. And that one will be, I'll start to bring you pictures of. It'll be the June board meeting, but we'll be starting it as soon as school's out in May. Now, Creighton Elementary is a standalone overhaul project because it's a bit more involved than the typical overhaul. So we've been roofing Creighton Elementary since we approved that project earlier this year. So the roof, the waterproofing membrane is essentially done. The next step is to put the white cap sheet on it, which gives us some high reflective value of that roof, helps us with our energy efficiencies inside. We've added the new fire riser room, which you can see constructed here, because one of the big scope items is to add a fire sprinkler to this campus. And one of the long lead items is the fire water storage tank that goes on that campus, which is one of the complicating factors that has us taking 2 summers to do this project. This summer, we'll engage in the first part, or the air conditioning overall of the campus, and then we'll kind of ramp it down for next school year and then ramp it back up next summer to complete this project. It is on schedule and is scheduled to finish in August of 2022. Then we move to our new junior high school in the Caney Creek High School feeder zone. So you can see from the overhead picture here, we can see the campuses that surround this location. But you can see off to the left is the track and the competition football field under construction. Off to the right, you can see the building slab and the streets and roads that are being constructed around the campus, tennis courts in the foreground, detention pond in the background. And if you look off in the distance, you can see Hope coming together, and you can see Granger Lane and Milam over the treetops. So the building slab is the biggest scope of work, and and from this angle, you can actually see the next door neighbor, Caney Creek High School. So all these facilities will actually share utilities, share drainage and infrastructure, and that's part of our goal here is to improve dramatically the drainage on that site, increase our stormwater detention capacity, and help manage that outflow later for extreme storm events. So that project is on schedule, and we're scheduled to open in August of 2023. Moving on to Conroe High School, which is the renovation project. It's our master plan. The 2019 bond has us finishing our master plan for Conroe High School. You can see from this picture, the demolition area in the middle of the picture is essentially done, and we're continuing to work on the new bus loop around the north part of the campus, which will actually facilitate a lot of other construction when we get the buses for next school year moving around rather than through the middle of the campus. Just kind of give you an idea, the elevation change on Conroe High School is drastic, and one of our tasks is to try to mitigate those elevation changes. And this is just the far northwest corner looking back towards the band hall. To give you an idea, our cameraman was a little over 6 feet tall, so the dirt there is above his head. But the idea there is to create essentially a capacity for our stormwater detention pond on the northwest corner of the site. And it'll be curbed and fenced, and has a condition very much like you have when you drive around the backside of Grand Oaks. So it'll be well appointed and well taken care of, and help us get buses around rather than through the middle of the school. And that project is on schedule, but we'll be there until 2025. We're moving to our teacher training center, which is on the Woodforest Bank Stadium campus. You can see our overhead picture. We've opened up a lot of the paving to get the utility work done around that building. The building pad has been constructed. The building foundations are in place. You can see the yellow outline where the building is the grade beams getting ready for the slab preparation. So, and that's what our underground utilities on the building slab are. You're looking at the restroom plumbing drain lines coming up out of the ground. So they're moving forward, getting ready for the first slab pour. And as we're moving around the campus, we're also cognizant that we're going to have our Education Foundation breakfast in the first part of May. So the concrete pours are around the campus. One of the major paving pours is actually in the morning. And as we're moving around to clean that up, so we have good access to the facility for that foundation breakfast and several other events that happen at the stadium during the course of May. The goal for the next couple of weeks is to reseed our construction footprint back to the building itself, and everything seems to be happening just as we'd planned. And we are on schedule for that, and we're scheduled to open that building in the spring of 2022. So when you're looking here, you're looking at some of the reasons why we have the pavement opened up. So the underground utilities, we're having to move the sanitary drains from underneath where the building is currently to flow around the building to connect all the concession stands, things of that nature. And that work is wrapping up, and the paving pours are going back as we speak. Moving on to our safety and security project for 2021. This is a district-wide effort, so it's the 2021 installment. We're generally speaking geographically in the Oak Ridge feeder zone this year. This is a picture inside of Ford Elementary where they got their new security monitor on on the front, and we're doing the film upgrades on the glass and retouching the cameras to make sure cameras and servers and other access control upgrades are happening on those campuses. So this is just one example. Most of that work is happening at night currently and on the weekends, so the campus doesn't know what's going on, and we're able to facilitate the work as well as keep school and functioning. That work is on schedule. We're scheduled to be in the Oak Ridge feeder zone through August, and then next fall we'll prepare the 2022 installment and bring that for approval as we move on through that project. It is currently on schedule. Now, Flex School number 21 is our new elementary school in the Conroe High School feeder zone off of McCaleb Road. So you can see from our overhead picture, you can see the streets and roads around the campus coming into view. You can also see the building pad sticking up out of the middle of that site. The detention ponds are dug. And we're also setting up the utilities for a long in the future elementary school on the backside of that site. That property is large enough for 2 elementaries. So we're setting up our storm water utility, domestic water utility, and the power utilities to accept that future school while we're doing the construction of this one. That school is scheduled to open in August of 2022, and it is currently on schedule.
Can you go back to that last picture,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Foster? Where is this in relationship to the new residential development that's being built? How far away is that?
Well, it depends on which new residential development.
Yeah, there's a few over there.
That's
So the
true.
one that was
Sorry,
in
I
the-
asked the wrong question.
So the one that was in the paper.
The
or
one
in
closest to 2854 that's on, I guess, or is that the east side of McCaleb Road?
So we are on the east side of McCaleb Road.
Right.
And generally speaking, we're about a mile straight south of 105
Mhm.
and just short of a mile of the Fish Creek Thoroughfare Bridge.
Okay.
Is our location. So
Okay.
it's pretty good spot.
I've been asked several questions, and I keep telling them, I think that's our school site.
It is.
It
And-
is.
And I've been told, no, that's a residential
No,
site. And I
it's-
said, I don't think so.
There are 2 home builder signs that are in
Right.
the front yard of our school that makes it seem like that's a
Okay,
residential development, but it's not.
I keep telling them it's our school site.
We've
and they're
actually
like,
talked
no, it's
about,
not.
we have a sign coming that's going to say
Good,
Conroe ISD
good.
Elementary.
That would help out quite a
Yes,
bit.
absolutely.
Correct. Our team's been working with Ms. Blakelock to draft an image of a sign so we can
Great. Thank
make
you
our
so
presence
much.
known.
Okay.
All right. That is our update.
Thank you.
All right, sounds like y'all are doing nothing right now.
Free time over there.
Yeah, a lot of free time. Thank you, Mr. Foster. Appreciate it. Moving on to item 7A, consider award of RFP 210204, Voice over IP via Session International Protocol Services.
All right, Mr.
Reeves.
Reeves.
Good evening, President Hubert, members of the board, and Dr. Knoll. Tonight, we're requesting that the board awards RFP number 21-02-04, Voice over IP via Session Initiation Protocol Services, also known as SIP, to Consolidated Communications for an estimated expenditure of $250,000 over 3 years. Requests for proposals pertaining to the purchase of Voice over IP via SIP services for the district were emailed to registered vendors through the electronic CISD e-bidding system, advertised on CISD purchasing website, and also 2 times in the courier. Vendors were asked to offer firm unit prices for these connections with primary termination points at the Sadler Administration Building and College Park High School. The long-term goal is to utilize these trunks within the district to increase resiliency for incoming and outgoing calls, increase our call capacity behind the 161 call paths currently in use, which give us a minimum of 200 paths, improving call routing, and to maintain cost control while improving services. Vendors were asked to offer both 1-year and 3-year contracts, automatically renewing annually for 2 additional 1-year terms if necessary. We had 3 vendors submit a response. These proposals were evaluated by our technology department and reviewed by the purchasing department. Best value offers are recommended for board award, and funds for these purchases are provided in the general fund. At this time, we request your approval.
All right, have a motion, or I entertain a motion?
So made.
We have a motion.
Second.
And a second, and a third. All right, any other discussion, questions? All right, seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Very good, motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, consider approval of the 2021-2022 Employee Group Health Program.
All right, Mr. Rice.
Mr. Rice.
Yes, good evening, President Hubert, member of the board, and Dr. Knoll. Tonight, we're requesting that the board consider approval of the employee medical coverage rates and plan design for the self-funded health insurance program. First, I'd like to thank Tiffany Matfeld, Paula Green, the Employee Benefits Committee, and our health consultant, Gallagher, and Maggie Parker is here representing them for all the work that they've done together on this plan. The district's self-funded group health insurance program is designed to provide the district employees a quality health plan at a reasonable cost. However, due to the continued rise of medical and prescription drug inflation of 6% and 9.1% respectively, the plan must be modified to remain sound. Medical plan designs are recommended for change along with premium increases for the 2021-2022 plan year. CISD believes all of its plans will continue to be offered at competitive rates. The initial plan design and premium increases that we presented to the board at the April workshop required a 9% increase to fund the plan. A large portion of the increase is due to an anticipated COVID-19 surge of elective surgeries and procedures. As we were looking for solutions to help offset this large increase to our employees, the board allowed the plan to use the fund balance and health insurance program to fund the potential one-time surge in claims. With the use of these funds, we were able to reduce the increase from the plan from 9% to 4%. This 5% savings represents $2.5 million to our employees. Thank you, board. The proposed plan design changes account for 2.5% of the increase. The total projected health plan contributions will generate $54.4 million, which is a 1.5% increase over the previous years. The district funds 5.6% of the health plan cost, and employee premiums fund the remaining 44%. The Employees Benefit Committee voted unanimously to recommend these plan designs and premium changes. At this time, I recommend your approval.
So move.
Have a motion?
Second.
We have a second. All right, any discussion, questions?
I'd just say this looks much better. Thank
A lot
you
better,
for
doesn't
all
it?
of the hard work behind
Thank you all
this.
for allowing us to use those funds. That
Yes.
was very appreciated.
Very good. All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? Very good, motion passes. Mr. Rice, thank you very much.
Good job. Outstanding.
Yes, sir, great job. And then we will receive our financial report. Mrs. Garza.
Good evening, President Hubert, members of the board, and Dr. Null. It is my pleasure this evening to present the financial statements for the month ended March 31st. First statement is our balance sheet. The balance sheet shows the district's assets and liabilities and fund balance. Presented here is the general fund, the debt service fund, child nutrition, and self-funded insurance. Total assets in the general fund are $412.3 million. Taking a closer look at our cash and investments in the state pools, we have $312.8 million. Total cash and investments in the general fund of $391.4 million. In debt service, $42.8 million. Next statement is our income statement. The income statement shows the district's revenues and expenditures. Our total revenues to date in the general fund are $518.2 million. Total expenditures of $286.4 million. This is an update of our 2019 bond referendum. These are the numbers behind all of Mr. Foster's projects. Total funds encumbered to date and expended $222 million. Remaining $431.4 million. We have sold $311.5 million in this bond referendum. Self-funded insurance, our total revenue year to date is $31.2 million. Total expenses of just over $30 million. We are at $1.2 million to the positive going into the summer months. This is kind of where we want to be. We do anticipate a slight increase in claims over the summer, which is very typical. During the summer months, our participation at the wellness centers is averaging 127 visits year to date. Our investments as of March 31st, total par value of $752.7 million. Our combined portfolio is yielding 0.2033 with a WAM of 31 days compared to our benchmark, the 90-day T-bill, which is at 0.013. Thank you.
Ms. Garza, what are those, can I ask a question back to that last page? The short-term investments that are averaging the 0.255, what are
Yes,
those being
that-
held in?
That is a piece of commercial paper that we purchased.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
all right. Thank you.
All right.
Any other questions? Very good, thank you, Ms.
you.
Garza.
Mr. Hubert, if I may, just before we, I know we go to executive session, but I didn't want the night to get away from us without just acknowledging the significant losses that we've had as a school district in the last month, with Gerald Irons and Bonnie Wilkinson passing away. And I know that many of us have, paid our respects and to those families, and we know the significant impact that they've made on our school district. But I didn't want us to get through this meeting without making that acknowledgement publicly and, thinking of those families today. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Very well said. Thank you for that. Okay, we are on to executive session. So a closed session of the board will now be held in matters contained in the notice for which this meeting is authorized by section 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074 of the Texas Open Meetings Act. Should the board determine that any final action, final decision, or final vote be required with regard to any matters considered in such closed or executive meeting or session, then such final action, final decision, or final vote shall be either the public meeting upon the reconvening of the public meeting, or B, at the subsequent public meeting of the board upon notice thereof, as the board shall determine. A closed session of the board will now be held. The time is 8:04. All right. Let's see here. Get my executive session. Oops. Okay, the board is now open session at 8:49. The next agenda item is item number 11.
Motion to
Motion to adjourn. Motion, second. All in favor?
Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.